All right, we can do an audio check now. Oh, all good, 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 good. Now we wait. Come on in. Come on in, folks. Do, 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 do. Come on in, guys. Hello. Hello, everybody. Where the hell is my... Where the hell... There it is. Good morning. How you doing? We are doing a Von Helton right now. I have 3 clips. One is... 2 are current, 1 is not. The first one is our man, Von Helton, having a... I haven't watched it yet, but he's talking about Greenland, and I don't quite understand what he's talking about, really, or what he will be talking about, but let's take it away. After that, I'll explain at the end of this one what we're going to do. So let's see what this one's all about.
Holy shit, yo. This whole thing with Greenland's exploding. News Nation got a hold of the Danish and got a hold of Greenlanders and asked them about the huge UFO that is thawing out, they say. Oh, wow. Turns out Von Helton was right about that shit. News Nation has done a big video on that, actually talking to the Greenlanders and the Danish about this. And like I said, it's a group of people that were living inside the craft, apparently. And they've been there, and the Greenlanders are like, yeah, man, this shit's 100% real. The UFO is real. The people that lived in it was real. All the stories are real. Everything is real. Wow, Von Helton ended up being right yet again. Imagine that shit.
If I'm not mistaken, I have read about these really old, like Viking boats. You know, those long, sort of sleek, sort of with no thingy. And they have been found buried. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking UFO for. Anyway, he's ignorant. We know it.
But yeah, so this thing's blowing up. Skizzle's done a video on it. News Nation has actually talked to the Danish people and the Greenlanders about this.
Yeah.
And like I said, Casper Site was doing a very thorough video on this shit. So yeah, the whole Greenland thing is exploding. This huge ass UFO. Some are saying that this UFO has the ability to control the weather. Not even kidding.
Not even kidding. You want me to Google it?
And I don't know about that, but I do know that
Oh, come on.
supposedly there was an ancient race of people that were living in this huge craft. But as I understand it now, the ice is that held it fast is melting for whatever reason.
The ice is
I don't know
melting.
why. And like I said, could that be, even Skizzle in his video is saying, could that be the reason Russia and China's hanging around is because of that huge ass UFO? Well, hell, that was what I said in my video, and I absolutely believe that shit because obviously, I mean, Greenland, yeah, okay, Greenland's got a few minerals in the ground, but not that much.
How do you
They
know?
don't have any oil, or if they do, it's not much. Yeah, so what's the deal with Greenland? Well, strategically, it's advantageous to us, but it poses no strategic value to the Russians and Chinese other than to be on our back doorstep. So what else?
That's not true. That's not true at all. The whole reason that Donald Trump wants Greenland is for the that Arctic passage. Now that the ice is melting, as you mentioned, um, traffic will be going, over around that part of the world in order to get to the other side. So, what America wants is America wants that passageway to be monitored because you got Russia and China, you got all sorts of weird countries' ships hanging around the northern Arctic. No, Donald Trump says no, and we have to be in control of that for safety, security, maritime safety and security, and also wartime safety and security. So I don't, I don't disagree that Greenland is imperative. It is imperative for Greenland to be under United States monitorship, if there's such a word. But everybody with this hullabaloo about people hate this and people hate that, and and now the UFOs and the melting. I mean, all of a sudden, Greenland. All of a sudden, Donald Trump wants Greenland, and now all these fucking stories come out. Von Helton found one where a UFO was buried, and people are living in it, and the ice is melting. I mean, all this nonsense, absolute nonsense. But I should carry on.
What else can there be? Oh, whoa! Well, it just so happens there's a huge ass mothership buried half into the ground and covered in ice.
Mm.
And apparently there was an ancient race of people that was living in the damn thing, and they used to interact with
Right,
us
Sonny.
humans years and years ago, and they had their own culture, they had their own lifestyle, they had their own beliefs, they had their own everything. And like I said, News Nation went over there. I mean, they broke their neck to get over there. They went over so fast. Said, yeah, man, yeah, this shit's all true. The Greenlanders are like, yeah, it's all true. Every bit of it's true. Shit's real as can be, man. It's like, oh fuck me. So okay. So yeah, good old Bon was right again. Imagine that. But yeah, amazing shit, man, amazing shit, and obviously kudos to Casper Site. He was the first one I saw got the info out, so kudos to him. And now everybody else has picked up on it, and but apparently I think News Nation might have beat him to the punch, but I don't know. I think he was quoting News Nation. In fact, I think News Nation was first. Then Casper Site got it. Now Skizzle's got it, and of course I mentioned it. So I mean, but yeah, this thing's blowing up, man. This whole thing is blowing up with the huge ass spaceship UFO. But like I said, some people were saying it might control the weather. So
Okay.
wow, what's up with
All
that?
right. I can't. I've got to go and Google this. Is there talk about a UFO buried in Greenland. Yes, there is chatter, and more recently, specific, sensational, but unverified claims regarding potential UAP or unidentified aerial phenomena or buried UFOs in Greenland. Here's a breakdown of the information. Recent UAP sightings. There have been reports of UAP sightings in Greenland, including a June 2025 report of a video showing an object rising from behind a mountain near Nasak, described by some as a mysterious light phenomenon. Alien megalith chatter. Online forums like Reddit's r UFO and r Google Earth finds have featured discussions and rumors about an alien megalith and Space Force in Greenland, though these are unsubstantiated, fringe, or anecdotal. Confused with real discoveries. Reports of things buried in the ice in Greenland are often misinterpreted versions of real scientific or historical discoveries. Camp Century. NASA recently imaged the remains of a Cold War era US military city under the ice that was abandoned in the 1960s. So that's probably what he's talking about. Hiawatha crater. Scientists discovered a massive meteorite impact crater beneath the Hiawatha Glacier, initially mistaken for other anomalies. While some UFO researchers are investigating specific footage in Greenland, there is no credible public scientific evidence of a buried alien spacecraft. Von Helton is wrong again. Let's go.
And now you say, well, Von, if it's a base ship, that means it's got fighters. Yeah, fighters and bombers and recon aircraft, spacecraft, aircraft, whatever, things that fly. But yeah. So wow, this thing is blowing up big time, though, guys. Blowing up big time.
No, it's not.
I think we're finally getting to the truth about Greenland a little bit more than what we thought, huh? Like I said, I did that live show and had that UFO flashing red and white lights. Well, it turns out red and white just happens to be the colors of the Greenland flag. Isn't that amazing? You would think a country called Greenland, the flag would be green, right? But no, the flag is red and white after the Danish. Because the Danes tried to make a claim. Now Trump is saying the Danes only dropped one boat, and we put like 3 or 4 boats down. So I don't know. Like I said though, there is some discrepancy, or we wouldn't try to buy the thing years and years and years
You
ago.
never said that.
So there's got to be some kind of discrepancy to the damn thing, to Dane's ownership. The Danish owning. But anyway, wow, this thing's blowing up, man. This thing's going crazy. Apparently, like I said, News Nation has apparently went over there and actually talked to the Greenlanders, and they're like, yeah, man, shit's all true. Big ass UFO, all kinds of cool people that were living on it, and they had a symbiotic relationship with the people on board this ship. And like I said, they had a name for the people, and I forget what it was. They said, and I forgot. But yeah, so crazy, man, crazy. So Greenland's blowing up, and I ain't talking in a bomb type way. I'm talking about in UFO way. UFO stuff is blowing up on over Greenland. Big hot spot, they said. UFOs easily spotted, easily interacted with. They said. So wow, crazy. Anyway, just thought I'd report because it's as it comes across my desk, I'm going to tell it to you. And but yeah, wow, man, crazy. But yeah, I think News Nation was the first, and then Casper Site got it. Now Skizzle's talking about it. Of course, I'm talking about it. So yeah, this thing's blowing up, man. Definitely blowing up. So yeah, things are changing, man. Things are changing rapidly. And I had me a bit of deja vu yesterday, which is so cool because when you get deja vu, it kind of lets you know you're on the right track. You know what I mean? So I had some deja vu yesterday, and so that was a good thing. Let me know I'm on the right track. I'm where I'm supposed to be, and all that good shit. So that was good. And saw 11:11. Let's see, was that early this morning or was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I saw 11:11 very briefly, very quickly, but I did see it. So that's good. And as you know, when it's four numbers, it's a super angelic number as opposed to just an angelic number. Angelic numbers are three, super angelic numbers are four, and super angelic number you would times it. This is not necessarily accurate, but it'd be like timesing it by 10. You know, so like if an angelic number has a certain power, then you would.
What is an angelic number? Don't you think that's a good question? What is an angelic number? Do they even exist? An angelic number is a repeating or patterned sequence of digits like 111, 4444, 1234, believed to be a spiritual message or sign from angels or the universe, offering guidance, affirmation, or a nudge towards your life path, appearing in everyday life like on clocks, receipts, or license plates. Rooted in numerology, these numbers act as synchronistic signals that something significant is happening or needs attention. With each sequence, for example, 222 for harmony, 333 for creativity, carrying a specific meaning. Now, the only issue I have here is that von Helton has been seeing these angelic numbers now for months. Even I think, yeah, even in New Jersey or before New Jersey, he was seeing these angelic numbers. But when he was in Kentucky, he every time he'd say, "Oh, I came up with a 222, and that's something, and a 444. Wow, But nothing's improved. Nothing's come of it. So why did all of a sudden does he think now he's seeing angelic numbers and something's going to happen? Absolutely ridiculous. But that's him.
Then for a super angelic, you would times it by 10, and then you would get a more accurate power on a super angelic. But anyways, I'm using those as an example. By the way, that's not. I don't claim that that's the way. I'm just that's an example. Anyways, but yeah. So wow, this thing's blowing up, guys. Blowing up big time. And could this lead to first contact? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what this is leading to.
I don't know.
But apparently, my ETs
Nuts.
flashing red and white.
Yeah.
Literally right here next to me, practically, and it's like red and white, red and white. Well, that's the color of the Greenland flag, guys. The Greenland flag is red and white.
And the Polish flag, and the Peruvian flag, and the other countries that have red and white in their flags.
So wow. So now we know a little bit more. Now we're getting this thing, and now, like I said, now it's blowing up. Everybody's talking about this shit, and it's awesome, which it is. So
And the Japanese flag.
yeah, wow, crazy stuff, man. Everything is falling right into place, isn't it? There's a method to the madness, and it's all falling right into place. And now obviously, since I'm already involved with ETs, then it's definitely in our interest to make damn sure that we secure Greenland. Obviously. Uh, now it becomes a necessary, and Trump was a bit rough about it. He said, we're going to do it the easy way or the hard way, and we'll do it the hard way if we have to. Well, that's some harsh rhetoric, and Trump does tend to be a little harsh from time to time.
He's
However,
president.
um, obviously this base ship buried in the ice, well, that's, we have to secure that, obviously. Duh. We have to secure that. And
So this is now Vaughn's reason for taking over Greenland. Okay, President Trump is harsh, but yeah, he's got to take over Greenland because there's a spaceship buried under there, and America needs access to that spaceship. So yeah, we need Greenland.
so, and like I said, some of them are saying that it's thawing out, and some are saying that it has the ability to control the weather. Um, and this is just a massive vehicle. And like I said, there was a whole civilization of people that lived in it. They actually lived in the thing. So I mean, and it's blowing up, man. It's blowing up crazy. Wow, this is awesome. Oh shit, I'm 11 minutes in. I'm sitting here bloviating. All right, man, I'm gonna get out of here, but just wanted to say that Skizzle's doing it. Apparently, News Nation. Apparently, what started it? News Nation went over there. I was like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
what's the deal on this UFO? Is it all real? And she said, oh hell yeah, it's real. And I was like, oh shit. So they went over there and asked a whole bunch of people and got a bunch of interviews and shit. And then Casper side heard about that and they picked up on it. And now Skizzles heard about it and they picked up on it. And in betwixt the two, I heard about it and I told you. So now we're all up to speed. And so Skizzle, for those of you who know, is the one that said that Maduro was Amazon primed. He's the one that came up with that phrase. So make sure you give him credit because it was his idea. Anyways, so I'm going to get out of here and went. But wow, yeah, the whole thing's blowing up now, man. It's all blowing up now.
How about you blow your nipple?
So now we're gonna work. Now the fun begins because we cannot let Russia and China get a hold of that base ship. Obviously, we can't. Sorry, we can't. And the Danes are just going to have to understand that we can't let them get a hold of that. That's
I think von Helton should lead the paramilitary force that's going to go in to Greenland and secure Greenland for America. That's what I think. And his hand is literally, yeah.
in our hemisphere. We got dibs on that shit, as they used to say, right? Got dibs on it. Anybody remember that term? We got dibs on it. No, you don't. You're too young. Sit down. But anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna get out here and went. But wow, it's blowing up, man. Blowing up. It's blowing up like crazy.
That's not.
So yeah, we got to secure Greenland. It's now
Leave your nose
it's
alone.
now very much in our interest to make damn sure that we have control of Greenland. I knew there had to be more to this Greenland thing. I just knew it. Well, surprise, there is. And I ended up being right again. Sorry, trolls and haters, but I ended up being right again. So okay, very cool, very cool. And so we'll see how things go, man. Keep your eyes and ears open because this is just getting started, man. This is going to get interesting, real interesting. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, donate, click the bell, all that good shit, because your donations and gifts of love keep me going through these trying times. Y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye.
Okay. Hello, Hatfield. All right. So that was today's, or last night's, whatever, pontification on Greenland. I'm going to try a little experiment now. We're going to go to von Helton's morning coffee. So first we'll take one from April of last year, last April 2025. And then we'll switch over to today's morning coffee. And let's see if we can notice what kind of differences there are in the content, in the tone, in the presentation, in the subject, etc., etc. So first we'll go to the one from, this is April the 12th, 2025. Let's do this one first.
Alrighty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Morning Coffee 377, and we are here once again, once more into the breach. The little red sign says, "We are live, we are live, we are live," and it is so. And so here we are, hopefully with no buffering and no lag and no whatever. But we are here, and we're going to do what I told you we were going to do. We're going to discuss this rash of activity more in depth,
Rash
and
of activity.
see how things may be happening. I mean, this is admittedly this is a theory I have, but it's kind of borne out in truth. And over there is sitting a dog that's waiting on a piece of sausage. Are you waiting on a piece of sausage, Sharpie? Oh, yes, I am, Daddy. All right, there you go, buddy. He's got him a piece of sausage. He's a happy camper now. Midnight used to love sausage. Remember when I tried to give her one on that video of mine? I tried to give her one, remember? She wouldn't eat it. She's grieving over them kids not coming back home. She just quit eating. Just flat quit eating. Can't fix a broken heart, folks. Can't fix that. No veterinarian can. What are you going to do? Oh, well. What's happened has happened, and all we can do is hope that the people responsible meet their swift justice at the hands of the destroyer that's coming here very soon, because he is coming. We know this because the King of England had a painting made of him covered in blood. But you only do that if you know your end is nigh, right? Yeah, that's the only reason you do it. And it is nigh. And now we find out he's terminal. So if he hasn't already croaked, he's terminal. So, could be that the destroyer is already here and is already starting to do its job, which that would be awesome. So, but we're going to discuss this. I guess really what I need to do first, though, is throw this up and then just let y'all see this. Let's see here. Fix my thing here. And there we go, and there we go, and there we go. And we are going to observe this. Okay, that's one. I think we've seen enough of it. I mean, it goes on forever.
That is total digger behavior. Did you see those diggers behaving atrociously, trashing that convenience store? Bad look.
Let's bring the other one up. Because I want to show more than one. That way, nobody just, well, he only showed one video. Okay, we're going to show more than one. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to show more than one. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. Going to show more than one, boys and girls. Oh, yes, we are. Okay, let's see here. Let me put that there, and that there. Grab this, grab that, that. And there we go. And here we go.
A big story at 5, shocking video emerging of a group of thieves stealing thousands of dollars worth of merchandise from a Pleasant Prairie outlet store.
It's all done in plain sight. This video is pretty wild. Casey Cronus is live with a look at this unbelievable robbery.
Yeah, good evening, you guys. Surveillance video from inside the store captures the entire theft on camera. The robbers doing seemingly nothing to hide their identities. Wild surveillance video from inside the North Face store at the Pleasant Prairie Premium Outlets shows what police are calling a mob shoplifting incident.
They were in and out of that store within 30 seconds.
Police say the heist went down like this. Monday night, just before 8 o'clock, 10 men swarmed the store, 9 of them grabbing clothes off the racks, sprinting out, and making off with more than $30,000 worth of merchandise.
They had planned this out.
Pleasant Prairie Police Chief David Smetana says the thieves knew exactly what they were after.
This isn't a group of 10 people walking by a store and coming up with an idea to hit it.
He says they are investigating whether this group is linked to other similar robberies in the area. Chief Smetana says the men did not approach any of the North Face employees, who called the police right away.
Their main objective was not to confront anybody. It was to grab as much product as they could in the shortest time frame they had and exit the store with it.
Although the men were caught on camera, they were gone before police could catch them.
We're depending on some video footage from inside the store and outside the store to try to help us identify who the offenders are.
And if you recognize any
Diggers!
of the people in this video, you're asked to contact the Pleasant Prairie Police Department. Reporting live in Pleasant Prairie, Casey Cronus, Fox 6 News.
Some wild stuff. Casey, thank you. Get a close.
Oh, he's got to be eating.
All right.
All right, what?
Now, I can play videos like this all night.
Oh, all right then.
I can also play videos where they're smashing police cars,
Of course you can.
where they're smashing the store itself, not just stealing, they're actually destroying the store, the front windows and the fascia and all the racks inside, and they were just smashing them, destroying them. Now, I have a theory, and I think it's a damn good one. It has been scientifically proven that if you play certain music at a plant, the plant will absolutely go apeshit and just blossom all over the place. Likewise, if you play another type of music at a plant, it'll wither and die. That's pretty powerful shit, right?
Not really.
So,
Lies.
who's to say then that this rap music doesn't have certain harmonies and frequencies that trigger something in the African American mind that probably would not be triggered in someone else's mind? Well, it's
What's this African American shit? African American.
extremely possible. In fact, it's probable because we know from history, that African music has certain beats to it and certain rhythms.
this whole African American thing really gets to me. It bamboozles me. Why are there no Scottish Americans, English Americans, Irish Americans, Italian Americans, Chinese Americans, Italian Americans, Spanish Americans, Greek Americans, Bulgarian Americans? Why are there no Russian Americans? Why? I mean, what the fuck with African Americans specifically? Fuck them. Who the fuck do they think they are getting a special designation, whereas we Anglo-Saxon types are we just Americans or Canadians. We don't have a special. Although I could call myself an African Canadian. In fact, I will call myself an African Canadian, and I'm not wrong.
That are not common in other forms of music. And so it is entirely possible that this could be causing blacks to behave this way. Now, you say, well, Vaughn, who's putting out this music? Jews? Jews control the music industry, folks. It's the truth. I mean, I could sit here and Google all the CEOs of all the music companies if you like. But I don't think I need to.
It's just Von Helton.
Because I think by now you know they're in charge of music, just the same as I do. So I'll spare you. But what I will say is that they're doing this intentionally. It's intentionally being done to get blacks to react this way. In a previous video, I posted a picture of black folk and how they looked years ago. They wore a suit and tie. The women wore pretty dresses. Women had pearls on, believe it or not. I mean, they were beautiful. It was, the men were handsome. The women were beautiful. Everything was prim and proper. And my, how they've fallen, right? So what would cause that kind of debauchery, that kind of barbarism, savagery? Well, it has to be in the music. That's the only place it can be. That's the only thing I can think of that influences large numbers of blacks is rap music.
So if all this rap is playing, let's say there's a totally mixed audience, okay? Totally mixed audience. So you play the rap music and only the black people will go, yeah, time to loot. Time to loot. Oh. And then somehow all the African black people, African Americans, all the blacks, they by this music, and as one kind of zombie group, they gravitate towards some kind of a high-end merchandise store and clean the place out. Absolute bollocks.
That's the only thing I can think of. And so, Vaughn, why doesn't it affect white folk that way? Because the white folk brain is different. They're wired differently. Everyone's brain is wired differently, but, there might be certain patterns between certain different groups. Like I said, when you go back and listen to African music, there are certain beats, there are certain rhythms that is not found in other music. And that is probably the cause of why they're acting the way they're acting, because they're acting like savages. I watched a video just the other day where they literally beat the shit out of a police car and then set the car on fire. Why? What's causing that shit? Has to be the rap music. It's the only thing it can be. And who's causing the rap music to be that way? Jews. See, they can slip certain things in that music that your conscious mind won't pick up, but your subconscious mind will. And then you act out on those things, sometimes without even realizing it. Could it be that these black men didn't even realize what the hell they were doing? It's possible. It's entirely possible. And I think this bears investigation. I think we've got a department now that can investigate these things and see if my little theory holds true, because I believe it does, and then do something about it. Like, say, arresting all the CEOs of the music industry, saying, hey, what the hell you think you're doing? Manipulating an entire culture.
So he's blaming the Jews for promulgating this music that causes black people to loot high-end merchandise stores. Yeah, seems legit.
Of people like that. Not very cool. Not only that, but could get people killed, and probably has. But I thought I would throw this out there and see what you all think, because that behavior is unacceptable. Okay. And like I said, there's a lot worse than those two videos. People being beaten, blacks on blacks fighting each other in McDonald's and Wendy's, and it's out of control, man. It's fucking out of control. And I'm seriously thinking that it's that it has to do with the music now.
Right.
All right, now let me put this over here so y'all can see it. When dealing with frequencies, there is actually one called the God frequency, and I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
Show us.
There is the God frequency, and it is at 963 hertz. This frequency.
Excuse me, I don't trust him. What is I can't type the God frequency? All right. The God frequency typically refers to 963 hertz, a specific solfeggio frequency believed to connect to divine consciousness, activate the pineal gland, open the crown chakra, and promote spiritual oneness. Though some spiritual traditions link divine connection to other natural frequencies like 8.73 hertz Schumann resonance or 432 hertz. These frequencies are used in meditation and healing music to foster spiritual awakening and alignment with the universe. What a lot of bollocks. So in essence, the God frequency is a concept used in spiritual practice to describe vibrational states conducive to profound spiritual experiences and connection. Spiritual. There is no such thing as an actual spiritual. You can have your own spiritual connection with your brain, whatever you want, but that's where it stops. All right. Von Helton is wrong.
He is believed to be one of the most powerful frequencies in the universe. When meditated upon, it can activate the pineal gland and stimulate the release of DMT, a chemical responsible for inducing spiritual experience.
I got a question for Von Helton. Von Helton, whenever you say Google it, why don't you do exactly what you're doing there and present the Google it? Why do I always have to do it?
All right, now, obviously, this frequency, being the God frequency, is going to promote a good response, a positive response, whereas the frequencies in this rap music would not. Now, this is just one example. There's numerous other examples. I think, what was the other one? Like 437 hertz or something like that. 432 hertz, I think it is. Let me make sure. 432, I think is what it was. 432 hertz.
Yeah,
believe it is.
I don't know. Especially Von Helton.
Yes. Deep healing. All right. 432 hertz is deep healing. So like if you feel bad, you know, if there's something wrong with you, you can listen to these harmonics, the 432 hertz harmonics, and it may actually help restore your body. At least that's the general idea.
I wonder, let's try something. What does 432 hertz sound like? Oops. Oops. All right, let's try and here we go.
Also how we should be tuning our instruments. Right now, the international standard for A on the treble clef is 440 hertz or vibrations per second. But a better and more harmonious result would come from tuning that A to 432 hertz. Our ears are uniquely tuned to this lower frequency because of an electromagnetic phenomenon known as the Schumann resonance. Lightning resonates in the cavity between Earth and the ionosphere in a series of harmonic peaks with a strong fundamental at 8 hertz. Now, whenever you multiply a frequency by 2, you get its octave. So if we set C to 8 hertz, this Schumann resonance, and also a power of 2, C will also be 16 hertz and 32 hertz, all powers of 2. Now, this is called scientific pitch. It was first proposed by French physicist Joseph Savour in 1713. When you set C to powers of 2 and octave displacements of the Schumann resonance, A will equal 432 hertz. There are plenty of videos out there on the YouTubes that do A-B comparisons between A equals 440 and A equals 432, but let's do it ourselves. Which of these sounds better to your ear?
All right.
Aesthetically and scientifically, it is preferable to tune to A equals 432 hertz. We have a deep connection to this tuning because it more accurately reflects the vibrational frequencies in the universe around us. So everything I've said so far in this video has been complete and utter bull. There are a lot of misconceptions around pitch standards out there on the internet, especially concerning tuning down to A equals 432 hertz. Thinking that tuning A to 432 hertz reflects some sort of sacred geometry is kind of like a flat earth theory for musicians, an internet hive mind worldview that has absolutely no basis in reality. Now, there definitely is such thing as the Schumann resonance, which has been used to justify all kinds of new age, but its fundamental is generally a little bit lower at 7.8 hertz, and so it doesn't actually reflect a scientific pitch. Scientific pitch does exist, but when you calculate A through scientific pitch in modern equal temperament, you get 430.4 hertz, not 432 hertz. What gives? Well, the strangely apocalyptic think tank known as the Schiller Institute has been the chief proselytizer for A equals 432 hertz in the modern era. They disingenuously use some fuzzy math.
Practicing fuzzy math again.
Calculate a value of 432 hertz for A by using Pythagorean tuning instead of modern equal temperament.
Well, hold on there. I just found this table on the internet that proves it. 432 has better looking math. Look at this math right here. This math is so much better than this math. This is uglier math.
That table does not mean anything. Equal temperament for 432 will give just as ugly math as 440 because equal temperament is a logarithmic system. It will always spit back decimal points.
Well, then let's use Pythagorean tuning. What's wrong with Pythagoras? He was Greek, he was smart, he was into math and harmony of the spheres and ancient primordial learning. His math was pretty.
Sure, I guess we could use the Pythagorean system, which involves stacking a bunch of just intonated perfect fifths on top of one another. The problem is we get sharper and sharper the higher we go. Major thirds are really out of tune, and so we completely abandoned the system 500 years ago. We also get aggressively out of tune intervals like the wolf fifth. Check it out. This is technically Pythagorean tuning in 432 hertz.
Was that A equals 432? That's supposed to open my third eye?
Yeah, that's what it is. Once you start investigating any of the claims that you might find about A equals 432 with any degree of rigor, they either fall apart or start veering into conversations about intonation and temperament, which is far beyond the scope of cheap New Age truisms.
Okay, but when you played those two examples earlier, I did like the 432 version a lot better than the 440 version.
Well, funny thing about that, you didn't listen to a comparison of 440 and 432. You listened to a comparison of 440 and 428. Any preference for the 428 version is simply because it was tuned lower relative to the 440 version. And things that are tuned lower sound warmer and less strained. If I asked you to tell me if this note was tuned to A440 or 432, would you be able to tell me without a reference? Unless you are one of the rare people with perfect pitch, you do not perceive absolute frequencies. Instead, you as a human perceive the relationships between frequencies. You can easily tell the subtle differences in pitch between two musical examples and then make value judgments about them, like these people have.
I definitely feel a difference with 432. I feel like I start to vibrate. 432 is in alignment with the universal frequencies permeating the planet. Pretty conclusive. Indeed, 440 is metallic and cold, while 432 resonates well with my emotions and heart center naturally.
But I really do hear a difference when I listen to songs in 432. I don't have perfect pitch.
Well, yes, granted, you might be able to tell if something has been tuned to 432 because of something called the Leviton effect. In 1994, a study was published that found that people, even without perfect pitch, could fairly reliably identify the key of a popular recorded song they were very familiar with from memory. This seems to indicate that we all have some degree of absolute pitch in certain circumstances. Because the vast majority of all the music that you've heard so far has been tuned to A440, any deviation from the standard will be small but noticeable.
Aha! Take that! 432 truly is a mind-expanding new way of listening to music in the world. It will open your chakras. It will open your third eye.
Please stop. I mean, the reason why we have 440 versus 432 or literally anything else is more because of physics and nationalism and also singers bitching about keys than any sort of new age sacred geometry. The musical note A originally was just set to the lowest notes that monks were supposed to sing when they were singing Gregorian plain chant. This was not particularly precise. A could mean whatever the hell you wanted it to mean and varied wildly from town to town and country to country. In 1711, John Shore invented the tuning fork, which was the first step to standardization. Surviving tuning forks from the era put A around 400 to 420 hertz, but that would change wildly in the centuries to come because of something called pitch inflation. When a pitch standard is established, alternative pitch standards will sound, well, quite different to our ears. 18th century musicians were used to a much lower A. When people started experimenting with higher tuned A's, they found them more exciting and brighter. This can be quantified mathematically by something called the spectral centroid. Anytime you hear a note, you'll hear upper harmonics vibrating along with the fundamental. The spectral centroid is the mathematical average of all of these harmonics, and we perceive this average as timbral brightness. So the higher the pitch, the higher the spectral centroid, the objectively brighter something is. Soon, those higher tuned, higher spectral centroided A's became the new standard, and so even higher tunings for A were sought. Much the same way that we have lived through an epic of guitarists tuning their guitars lower and lower, the 18th and 19th centuries brought an arms race among orchestras to see who could tune the highest. London orchestras tuned their A as high as 455 hertz. There was pushback because singers were becoming more and more strained with the higher pitch standards. Instruments can be tuned up, but the physiology of the human voice remains the same. And so, in order to combat pitch inflation, the first international standard for A was set in 1859 by the French government to 435 hertz. Even still, this was too high for the Italian opera composer Verdi, who preferred his A to be tuned to 432 hertz. At a 2001 production of Verdi's La Scala, Placido Domingo said, "It would have been better to lower it to A432 as Verdi himself demanded. Why should we singers suffer? Lowering the tuning allows singers to save their voices." So it's Verdi who we can blame for all of this nonsense the Schiller Institute has been promoting about A equals 432. But for Verdi, well, he was a composer and a musician, and composers and musicians just care about two things. Does the music sound good? And how can we keep the singers from being complete divas? Tuning A to 432 hertz hertz checked off both boxes for Verdi, and so he went with that tuning. Now, the French A435 was considered too low for the British. They wanted to factor in pitch changes due to temperature, and so calculated that their A should equal 439 hertz to sound the same as a French 435A. A few scientists complained that 439 was a prime number and would be hard to replicate in laboratory conditions, so that number was bodged up to 440 hertz. This standard was soon adopted by American instrument manufacturers in 1926, which caused A440 to become more and more popular as American instruments were exported. The A440 standard was set in stone in 1955 by the International Organization for Standardization. Incidentally, you can buy a 440 from the ISO for 38 Swiss francs. Not really quite sure what that means, but hey, you can, so go for it if you're so inclined.
Yeah, but check this out. The number 432 you can do all kinds of crazy math to. It proves that 432 hertz is the mathiest of music. Sacred vibrational geometry.
Well, let's remember what 432 hertz means. Hertz means cycles per second, and the second is an entirely arbitrary measure of time. It's a 60th of a minute, which in turn is a 60th of an hour, which in turn is a 24th of the amount of time it takes Earth to rotate once. That in itself is extremely imprecise because of many exceptions to the rule, so the current technical standard for what a second is the duration of 9,192,661,770 periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between two hyperfine levels of the ground state of the cesium-133 atom. There is literally no practical reason to do this, but technically speaking, the most mathematically precise way of measuring pitch would be in terms of cesium atom radiation. This would mean that A equals 432 cycles per second would equal 9,192,000 divided by 432 equals that number of periods of radiation, and A equals 440 cycles per second would equal that number. And as we all know, this number is clearly more divine than this number. Pitch is arbitrary because it's based upon a standard that itself is an entirely arbitrary number of radiation periods in a cesium atom. And that's okay because we don't perceive pitch in a vacuum. When we listen to music and when we play music, we experience and react to the relationships between notes, the ratios between frequencies and not the absolute frequencies themselves. That said, there are a couple of practical reasons why you may want to experiment with tuning a little bit lower, whether it's to A432 or anything, really. It doesn't really matter. A Ledovan effect might suggest that we have long-term exposure to 440, and any deviation from that will yield new and surprising results. And also, it might be easier to sing certain things a little bit lower than strain ourselves with high tuning. Beyond that, there really isn't anything to A equals 432 hertz. It's the new age snake oil for the internet musician. And like any snake oil, you can buy it now. Yes, you can get true 432 hertz music for the low price of $19.95. Who could resist? At least it's less expensive than the 38 franc A equals 440. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you really...
So, there you go. All this nonsense from our morning coffee man, 432 hertz. Garbage.
It's at least going to make you calm, which is always a good thing. You need to be calm. And but this, so this is not, this is not pie in the sky bullshit. This is, this is real stuff, right? And so it's important to understand that, I'm coming from the basis of credible information here, not just, it is my idea and it is my theory, but I think it's borne out in the science as well. So, something to think about, something to ponder. And I think, like I said, I think the CEOs of these music companies should be held responsible for this activity, because the music. Now you say, well, Bob, this all sounds like pie in the sky science fiction bullshit. Now wait a minute, not so fast. Way back in 1940 something, Coca-Cola wanted to do a test. So they slipped a picture of people going to the concession stand inside the frames of a motion picture. Guess what happened? Everybody got up out of their seat and they went to the concession stand. Okay. So it does work. It does work. So this is something that I've been thinking about. You know, I'm seeing more and more every day. I'm seeing video after video after video, mobs of blacks either attacking people or attacking each other or smashing a department store or looting the department store or both, or smashing police cars, smashing their own cars, smashing other people's cars. Where in the hell is all this activity coming from? I believe it's coming from rap music. I absolutely believe it. Now you say, well, Bon, such and such a rap song has nothing but positive words in it. We're not talking about the words. We're not talking about the lyrics to the song. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about harmonies. We're talking about megahertz, kilohertz, gigahertz. And boy, does it hurts. But anyway, cymbal crash. Anyway, but, we're talking about, frequencies that can actually affect your mind. Like I said, the God Hertz is a positive thing, spiritual enlightenment and growth and, peace and harmony and all that good shit. And to be blunt about it, this needs to be addressed. Because, you got whole throngs of people being affected by it, and they just go in there and they just trash everything, man. That can't be allowed to continue, okay? That activity cannot be allowed to continue. So we need to make sure that it don't. And you do that by exposing it. Now, I'm sure this is going to anger some people. Well, too bad. Sorry about your luck. But I'm believing that my theory is a little more than a theory. I'm thinking it's pretty much the case. Like I said, whites don't seem to be affected. Native Americans don't. Do you see big throngs of Native Americans doing that shit? How about Asians? No, you don't, do you? But you do blacks. And rap music is specifically targeted at black folk, is it not? Yeah. There's some white folks that'll listen to it, but by and large, it's targeted towards blacks. So there you are. If the shoe fits, wear it, as the old saying goes. And it is very, 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 very possible that, this activity is in direct correlation to the rap music that they listen to. Again, has nothing to do with the lyrics. They could make a rap song talking about flowers in a field, okay? Just to throw something out there, pretty flowers in a big green field, That could be the lyrics to the song, pretty flowers in a field, and it still drives fucking black folk insane, and they go out and they do a flash mob of a department store or a police cruiser or whatever. Or even each other. Like I said, videos are starting to come out now where they're fighting each other in McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King. And they just break out in a fight for seemingly no reason at all in some cases. It's like, why? Why are they doing this? What's causing this activity? I believe it's the rap music. I believe it's the music they're listening to is operating at a certain frequency, and that certain frequency is causing these people to absolutely lose their fucking mind and just go apeshit. And it needs to be investigated and hopefully stopped. That's what needs to happen. And by the way, anyone that does decide to pursue this, make sure you're on the buddy system. No lone wolves on this. Because you try to lone wolf this, you'll end up disappearing. Let's do a Mulder and Scully type thing with this, okay? Where you have a partner. That way, it's less likely that you magically disappear while investigating this, right? Yeah, we don't need that shit. So buddy up. The more the merrier. 2, 3, 4 of you even. That way we can lessen the chance of. Golly gee, Vaughn, the guy investigating ended up dead. Well, who'd have thunk it, right? Yeah, no, I'm not into coincidences. I'm not big on coincidences. Sorry. So yeah, probably wouldn't hurt to buddy up on this one, because I can tell you, Jimi Hendrix and Michael Jackson would tell you the same thing, right? Yeah. So let's get on the buddy system and let's investigate this and see what we can come up with. Because I got a funny feeling, call it a hunch, but I got a funny feeling that this is going to produce something. We're gonna get results from this. We can find all kinds of cool shit going on with this. Because these frequencies, man, they can affect you. Hopefully for good, but not necessarily so, right? All right, yes, I do see it's coming up on the half hour, so I'll get out of here and went. But I wanted to keep my word and tell you about this and get it in your mind what may be happening in their minds. Because that activity is not normal behavior now, is it? No. I mean, getting on top of a cop car and smashing it is normal behavior? No. No, that's not normal behavior. And then setting it on fire to boot. So, yeah. No, that's not normal behavior. So, let's investigate and see what we can come up with. But I got a funny feeling that that music is operating at a frequency that causes people to react in a certain way. Call it a hunch. It's my little pet theory that I have going. We'll see if it bears fruit. Anyway, that is a half hour. So we're going to get out of here and win. Y'all have a pleasant day and better tomorrow. This concludes the Sunday edition of Morning Coffee. Bye.
All right. So that was Morning Coffee from April of 2025. It is now, what are we at? January of 2026. And we have a morning coffee this time from Von Helton, living in his car. So let's take it away. Morning coffee, January 2026.
Representative Robin Kelly, and by the way, good morning, folks. It's Morning Coffee. Robin Kelly, the great state of Minnesota, has gotten behind a podium and has made her declaration that she is going to side with illegals and terrorists. That's unfortunate, because while she's behind the podium, she keeps saying she's the most bipartisan congresswoman you would ever see. Well, siding with illegals and terrorists doesn't exactly make you bipartisan, Ms. Kelly. Furthermore, can you name me any one of these people that went through their embassy to get here? Just one? Can you show me one of these people, one of these Somalis, or even a non-Somali that's here illegally, that went through their embassy in order to get here? Can you name one? Just one? You can't. You know why? Because these people didn't come here through their embassy, which is the legal way to become a citizen. So how did they get here? They get here by crossing our border, either the northern border, the southern border, or crossing via the sea on either our east coast or west coast. But they did not come here through their embassy, did they, Ms. Kelly? No, they did not. They came here illegally via the Biden administration, who bussed them in, flown them in, and encouraged them to come and literally leech off the American people and do as much mayhem and damage as they possibly could while they're here. They were actually told this. In fact, if I recall correctly, there was even pamphlets passed out to tell the people where to go and what to do when they got here. Okay? That's called premeditation, Miss Former Attorney. That's called premeditation. All right? You, as an attorney, I think you should know that. Also, as an attorney, I think you should know the legal way to come into the United States, and it isn't by illegally crossing our southern or northern border. Now, is it? No, it is not. And you know that. You're a former attorney, but you don't know the law? Give me a break. Give me a break. By your own admission, you're a former attorney.
Look who's talking. Mr. Real Estate Law for 2 years, living in his car. Can't even fucking manage his own real estate.
But yet somehow you don't know the law? Give me a massive break. No, you don't come in this country illegally, and you sure as hell don't come in here as a terrorist and to commit terror. Okay, no. ICE is not out there rounding up legal citizens. No, they're not. I know the leftist media is trying to say that they are, but they're actually not. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie. They are not arresting legal citizens. No, they're not. That's not their purview. That's not what they're there to do. They're there to round up illegals and terrorists. That's what they're there to do. And that's what they are doing. Now, it's unfortunate that some leftist chick, white chick, I think, I'm not sure, but I'd have to look, but I think she's even a white chick, decides she's going to do something really stupid and run over an official with her vehicle. Well, you can't do that, okay? You can't do that, because Kelly was like, oh, well, this Renee chick, she was just, no, Renee killed herself, suicide by cop, because she took her vehicle and tried to run over an officer of the law. And that is Renee's fault. That is not anybody else's fault. That's Renee's fault. You don't get in a 3,000-pound vehicle and try to do somebody harm with it. All right? You just don't do that shit. And the man had already been run over once, and so he obviously was afraid he was going to get run over a second time, which probably would have killed him based on the camera footage I saw. It probably would have killed him this time. He did end up getting a shit ton of stitches in his legs. Did you know that, Representative? That this officer ended up getting a bunch of stitches in his legs as a result? I bet you didn't know that, did you? Isn't it funny how the media conveniently leaves out that information? Anywho, crossing our border, either north border or southern border, illegally is a crime. And as an attorney, you should know that. And the fact that you don't know that, or you don't want to know that, is quite telling. In any event, it is now clear to me, based on you getting behind a podium and spouting off, that you are clearly on the side of illegals and terrorists. Well, we have a word for that. It's called treason. I hate to throw that word out there, but I got no choice, because you pretty much have solidly made your decision now, haven't you? And you say, oh, well, we're patriots in Minnesota. No, patriots don't side with terrorists. A patriot and a terrorist are two totally different animals, okay? We have this misconception that one man's terrorist is another man's patriot. Wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. Now you say, well, Vaughn, why is that wrong? I'll tell you why. It's very simple. A patriot would never harm an innocent civilian, ever. But a terrorist will use an innocent citizen as a human shield. That's the difference between a terrorist and a patriot. So no, one man's terrorist is not another man's patriot. Now, is it? No, because they have two different ideologies. A patriot would never harm the civilian populace, ever. But a terrorist will use the civilian populace to advance their goals. Period. So no, one man's terrorist is not another man's patriot, and vice versa. They are not one and the same. They are totally different ideologies. Totally different ideologies. Are we clear on that? And now as an attorney, you probably don't know that because that would be more of a historical thing than a legal thing. So, okay, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt that you probably didn't know the difference between a patriot and a terrorist. I'm willing to give you that because you're probably not a historian.
You know, his face is visibly dirty.
You know, I can't expect everyone on the planet to be a historian. But in any event, the fact is you are an attorney and you know that these people are here illegally and they have to be rounded up and deported. Biden allowed millions and millions of people. He literally opened the floodgates and allowed millions and millions of people to come in here illegally. Now, if you could show me where these thousands of Somalis came in here through their embassy, the legal way, which is the only legal way that I'm aware of, you contact your embassy, they contact the U.S. Embassy, you take a test, you get your shots, you get an FBI background check, you get all that shit done, and then you come into the country. But they didn't do that now, did they? No. They came across our border illegally, either by bus or by plane or by foot. Either one of those three modes of transportation is still illegal. Isn't it, former attorney? Yes, it is. Because as a former attorney, you would know that, right? Yeah, absolutely. You would know that. Okay, so I don't know why you decided to fall on your sword for these people, because they would just say, let's say the roles were reversed and you were in Somalia. Do you think they'd give two shits about you? Do you think they wouldn't slit your throat in a heartbeat if they got the chance? Yeah, they would, because they're terrorists. They're terrorists. They're not good people. They're terrorists, okay? You don't sit there and say, I'm going to side with terrorists. No, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea, Congresswoman. That's a horrible idea. And like I said, as a former attorney, you should know the law. You should know it. And see that this is incredible, because you sit there and side with known domestic terrorists and foreign terrorists, no less. But yet in the same breath say you're a patriotic American? No, you cannot be. No, just absolutely fucking no. You cannot be a patriotic American and support terrorism in this country at the same damn time. No, you cannot. One man's terrorist is not another man's patriot. No, they are not. They are two totally different individuals. One will use the population to further their ends. The other will protect the population against the terrorists. Fundamental difference right there between the two. Fundamental difference. But I am floored that someone in our Congress is actually going to get behind a podium and say that they are going to defend terrorists and illegals in this country. Because ICE is not arresting legal citizens. No, they are not. I don't give a damn how many times the media says they are. They are not. Now, I heard a report the other day that ICE had killed an innocent American. So I investigated that claim. And guess what? Wow, surprise, surprise. It ended up not being true. It ended up totally not being true. Because I investigated the claim to see for myself. I wanted to see for myself, right? So I went and I investigated. Turned out that was a complete lie, totally made up by mainstream media. They did not kill an innocent civilian, an American civilian. They did not kill him. No, they did not. That was a lie. That was a flat out lie perpetrated by the mainstream media, who tend to lean way to the left anyway, right? Yes, they do. So anyways, but I wanted to see for myself. So, because, oh my God, because at first I'm like, holy shit, did we really kill an innocent American? And so I investigated and it's a total fucking lie. Total fucking lie. So, are we in the habit now, Congresswoman, of supporting people that lie as well? Is that what we're in the habit of now? We're going to support people that lie, blatantly lie, and say that ICE is out here slaughtering innocent Americans and they're arresting citizens and shit? No, those are lies. Those are lies perpetrated by the leftist media, formerly known as mainstream media, but let's just call a spade, or leftist media. dare I say, communist media, but they're definitely leftist media for sure. And no, it was completely fabricated, totally untrue. But see, they put that shit out there. They put that shit out there thinking that you're not going to be like me and you're not going to investigate to see if it really happened. You're just going to take it at face value. Oh my God, ICE is killing American citizens. We got to do away with ICE. You know? No, it ended up not being true. That ended up being a lie. So, but it's rather telling. You know, we now have a member of our Congress that's like, yeah, man, I'm going to side with terrorists and illegals. Well, wait a minute. I think that's treason. I believe that if it ain't treason, it's damn close to treason. Right? Yeah. Because you're sure as fuck not siding with the Constitution when you side with a bunch of illegals and terrorists. Right? Because illegals and terrorists are what? Violating the law. And what is the law of the land? The Constitution is the law of the land. When you are unconstitutional, you are illegal. You are a criminal. Because the Constitution is the law of the land. Right? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, anywho, wow, this is crazy. I don't know what to say other than, you know, this is just insanity at its finest. But it is a morning coffee. Sun's breaking over the horizon there. Beautiful morning, by the way. If not cold. If it wasn't so cold outside, it'd be picture.
Check out that hand. Check out that hand. Look how black and disgusting that hand is. Look at the dirt under his fingernails, unclipped, unwashed. And he eats with those hands. Look at his wrist, black. Look at his jacket, black. Ugh. Ugh.
You're perfect, but that's coming too, because we're going to be getting into February here, and the weather's going to start warming up, so everything will be fine. But yeah, wow.
Oh, and he's sticking his
unbelievable.
black hand.
I couldn't believe when I got online this morning and saw that. That was insane.
And touching his face with those dirty hands.
Anyways, y'all have a pleasant day and a better tomorrow. Don't forget to like, share, rate, subscribe, donate, and pontificate, because your donations and gifts of love is what keeps me going through these trying times. Have a wonderful day and a blessed tomorrow. Bye.
There you go. There you go. Another Von Helton morning coffee. Did you notice anything different between the first morning coffee and the last morning coffee? I didn't. He's still an arrogant bastard, an asshole, animal abusing, child molesting, PDF file. PD file. That's all I have for this morning right now. But you know what? That we'll be back at some point soon with the latest craziness, right? So for all of you who actually made it in here to hang out, I thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you for watching. You can support me by buying me a coffee, and we can do something like get rid of this guy and just keep me while we say goodbye. So thank you for watching. We will see you very soon. Boing. Bye.